businesses, and we have, we're gonna go straight to, Samaritan Village to present. Thank you, welcome. You need more letters, right? Okay.
Introductions first here.
Oh, you wanna do introductions?
Yes.
All right, I introduce myself.
You want me to start?
Yes.
Introduce yourself.
Good evening, my name is Brenda Goodman. I'm a member of the Community Planning Board. I am also the Vice Chair of Lincoln Hospital's Community Advisory Board. I'm here tonight as a member of the Community Board to voice my opinion with the media, with the members. That's my purpose here today.
I'm Freddie Perez, I'm first vice chair, community board.
Daniel Ambrose, second vice chair.
Christina Kyle, community.
Fernando, third avenue bid for
Stephen Palmer's community coordinator, Bronx Community Board 1.
Anthony Jordan, district manager to the board. Good evening, Madam Chair, ladies and gentlemen. Just want to remind you that the meeting is being broadcast live on our YouTube channel, at Bronx Community Board 1. Also, we are recording this for live minutes. Please make sure to speak clearly, concisely, and right now we're going to present us to say her name and title and name of organization. Thank you, Chair.
Good evening, my name is Arlene Morales, and I am with Samaritan Day Top Village. I am the program administrator for the outpatient portfolio within the organization, and I'm here this evening to present our admissions and overall enrollment process here in the Bronx at the Richard Press Wellness Center. And we also are located in Van Wyck in Queens. The concept of this package that I handed out was to educate you all on how we are able to do evaluations, extensive, thorough evaluations, not just on substance use. It could be mental health, it could be for medication-assisted treatment, it could be for any identified needs that a recipient presents with. And knowing that we have central admissions located right here in the Bronx on 148th and Cortlandt, it gives individuals an opportunity to walk in and get to meet with a provider. Even if they're unsure of what they're looking for, they can have a discussion about what they would like to work on, and it provides an opportunity for the person who's assessing them to determine overall what route they would take, whether it's residential, outpatient, if there is a need for inpatient services. The goal is to assess and determine what the person needs. There is no wrong door, so with central admissions, what's great about it is that anyone could come in, whether they have a scheduled appointment or not. It could be done over telephone, on site, via telehealth. And we really work with the person and determine in support of what they feel that they need to work on and guide them to the proper, level of care. It just depends on what the person is looking towards to addressing. And it can vary where they can meet with a therapist and have an extensive evaluation that can lead to meeting with a psychiatrist and also result in enrollment, or it can mean that maybe they want to go a route of getting residential services, which in this package that I provided gives you the step-by-step for each location and what the process entails. We even have a QR code for someone who walks in and somewhat unsure, even though they meet with someone and want to go home and think about it, they have the QR code to, get reassessed and reconnect with the program. We even have amazing peers that work hand with our central admissions office so that if someone wants to reconnect that way, they can with a peer, which is great. And we even have recovery services on site at 148th Street along with in Queens that if someone's just not sure what route they want to take, they can always start at the recovery center. It's a great way to build a relationship. It's a great way to make connections. And when the person is ready, they then go through the same process of going to see a therapist, get screened, and then, become enrolled into services. It's just nice to know that it doesn't have to be in a setting where they're being placed right away if they choose not to, but if they are, we are ready to take them on board. We have transportation available to get them to the service that they're looking for. Nevertheless, on 148th in Portland, we have an amazing building that offers services from medical care to behavioral health services. We also have certified community behavioral health clinic, 2 of them located in the same building. We have long-term care management, and so we also have an opioid treatment program. So it's a nice way that an individual can come in and get multiple services as they need, or when they're ready, they can be referred to one of the floors, depending on what the person is looking for. But in a nutshell, we are able to really assist anyone, whether they're unsure or if they know exactly what they're looking for. I think for me, it's when we have open doors that anyone could just walk in and someone can meet you and greet you and try to help you figure out your needs. It's a nice way to engage and build a good relationship to start, getting someone the services that would support them. And so that's in a nutshell what we can do at Central Admissions. That extends to all the other services that we have on the other floors. Yes.
Is there a minimum age?
So we take as young as 5 years old, depending on the services being rendered. So for example, if a child is in need of outpatient behavioral health services, we can take as young as 5. We even take on families. If it's residential, we do have a program called Young Mothers that houses the mother with the child as long as they meet the criteria, which is great because they're in services getting their lives together. And if they have certain legalities or certain collaterals that make the recommendation, at least the parent is with the child, the mother especially. So that is great. We also have families that are in therapy where the adults are getting the therapy and the children are also seeing a therapist. And then we even have parenting groups that incorporate just parenting for the parents, but then we also have sectors that allow for it to be the parent with the child. And those have been very successful as well.
Amazing, that's great.
And at the end of the day, if someone doesn't want to proceed with the services we have, or we feel we have to collaborate with other organizations to meet the person's needs, we refer, follow up, and make sure that we get them the services that we
I
need.
love the work you guys do.
Thank you.
Okay, so, does that conclude everything for the presentation?
Yes.
So I'm gonna open it up for any questions. Does anyone have any questions? Wanna, start off?
Madam Chair, may I have a question? Thank
So,
you. How long you say you've been at this site? Because I'm familiar with, you're across from Municipal Credit Union, right?
Excuse me?
You're across from Municipal Credit Union. You're on 148th and Cortland?
Yes, we're like up the block.
Up the block,
before.
right up the block. Okay,
We've been there for 3 years now, since August of 2021.
okay,
So it's about 3.5, almost 4 years to be exact.
okay. I remember when you came into this, was right before the pandemic. Right before the pandemic. Okay, now that you're here, have you made any linkages in the community with the community planning board?
Yes,
think-
we have done linkages with Cartman Mikowski,
Mhm.
which we've been very successful in helping the patients that are being served there. Then they come over to get the services they need, whether it's parenting, anger management, and reconnecting with families, which is one of my biggest accomplishments that we do strive on, showing that it can work. Where we do have a childcare room and we like to support third party visits and really support the parents reconnecting with their kids in effort of showing the workers from Cartman Hospital. So that's been great. We've also partnered with the Bronx Opioid Collective,
Mhm.
and that's been wonderful in doing outreach in the community, whether it's in the parks or if we reach different train stations. We've done that together. And we've also worked with nurse psychotherapy. At the end of the day, if they have someone that would benefit from our location and vice versa, it's nice that we have been able to share our information and work with one another.
Right,
We've also even had linkages with Essence and Bronx Care,
right,
which is great because obviously they have services that we can benefit from and we have services they can benefit from. So we try to support each other with identifying client needs and seeing if we can accommodate them.
Now, since you mentioned all the linkages that you have, and you're familiar with what's going on in the district at this time, I'm quite sure. Have you and that linkage body that you have met on how you may help in helping to resolve some of the issues that we are having now in the district?
So
Because they affect your clients as well. So since you mentioned those linkages and the chair is here, maybe it's somewhere that you and your linkages can get together and come to the Healthy Community Youth Services meeting and form a group to start working on the issues that we have in the district. That would be very, very helpful.
I agree, and being a part of this for the first time, it would be great to go back and share with them what I've done and present it so that we can come together
Right.
and present again to show what we can work on. I know what we have been trying to do is stay afloat and try to communicate more and try to really show what barriers, what challenges are we all facing and how can we tackle them. Whether we start with one barrier and then face the next one,
Mhm.
but that has been something that we have been trying to implement more often versus just quarterly check-ins. It's more okay.
Right.
This didn't work. Let's try this. And I think having them here that they can join me and coming to present to show that that would be great.
It would be a uniform body to meet with the chair with those linkages to set that up and start with community board one. I thank you. Madam Chair.
Thank you. What is the total population that you guys are servicing right now?
So the total population within this community,
With that show up at 148th Street and Cortland Avenue?
wow, about 75%.
No, a number, like
Oh, a
100
number.
clients, 200
Oh.
clients.
Maybe about 250, 300.
How often?
On a weekly, we do track it because we do have a lot of people that are enrolling into services.
Mhm.
I would say between 250, 300 that get enrolled the following week, about 60% of that would present, which is a good about 120, 115, 120 that they actually come in. Because
60% of two is almost, okay, 60% of 300 is 180, but,
oh, I said, sorry,
Yeah,
250, 300.
so you're
it's
saying
like
180
around-
people, clients, are showing up weekly?
Yes.
Okay,
And that's just for the behavioral health. Now, it's
well,
right.
I was gonna get into that, because on your presentation, you have 3 different things that you have.
Yeah.
Addiction treatment, mental health, and recovery services.
Sure.
What percentage is mental health, and I don't know what recovery services is, so.
So the recovery services, the recovery center, which is part patient advocacy recovery center.
Mhm.
So it's not treatment, it's just a recovery center that provides services ranging from groups to activities that really keep the clients engaged.
Got it.
So that would be a separate.
So addiction and mental health, what kind of percentage are you talking about?
Well, the
give me the
180
ratio.
would be between, that's for the
Are
behavioral
you
health.
saying 50-50?
I would say more like 65, 70.
65 addiction treatment?
65%? Are we talking about percentage right
Yeah.
now? Yes.
If you.
And if I can give you an example, in one of our behavioral health clinics, we offer medication-assisted treatment.
Okay,
So we do have over 60 to 65% of clients who are receiving medication-assisted treatment while getting behavioral health
I got it,
services.
okay, and this is daily,
Correct,
okay,
because it's integrated. So you're starting on one floor and then getting other services from another floor, and on top of that, you're getting medical care. So I
do
usually.
you know, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
It's okay.
Do you know, I don't wanna forget that word, where do they live?
So they live within, I would say the 10451, the 10455, the 10467. I also know the 10453. It's really within, if I was to say a radius, I would say, anywhere from this area going towards, Southern Boulevard. And then we also have another range, probably close, not Allerton, but near Fordham, Allerton, if I'm making sense, on
That's
the
why
Bronx River.
Oh,
So,
okay.
If you,
Yeah,
if you
it
saying
ranges
6, 7,
between
then you're going all the way up by North Central.
Yes, but we also have all the way by like Allerton Avenue, Fordham
Mhm.
area. But it's also where there's consistency. I think a lot shows that some people can start in one zip code and they're not consistent. They don't have structured housing,
Right.
so they move around a lot. So that's where it can expand, where they can start in one location and then end up in another. But with having multiple outpatient clinics, we're able to track these individuals because it's easier for them to get to the Harlem location, for example. Then I transfer their case. If they need to go closer to almost Top City kind of area, we have an outpatient clinic there.
Mhm.
So we try to keep them within services that can be easy to accommodate them. Also, we have a guidelines that would recommend areas that, are safer for them to be in or if they are released into the community and they want to be away from an old area, we then disperse them to a location that would benefit them.
What's your ratio of women to men?
Wow. So initially it was men higher than women, but recently looking at it now, I would say it's about 3 women to 1 male.
Wow, okay.
So we are increasing and seeing more females in treatment where
Mhm.
during this for a very long time, I can tell you it was not like that previously.
And my last question, if you may, allow me,
We also have initiatives that come through the state as well. So we have teams from Oasis that are embedded in the shelters and in the community. So I have teams outside of the community 4 to 5 times a week,
Mhm.
and I have an outpatient team embedded in the shelter, and they provide our services in the shelter to them if they don't want to come to us, which I've enjoyed overseeing for over a year. And that is about 10 individuals, and they're dispersed within 5 shelters, and that's been a great way to show how we can try to initiate treatment where they're at.
Mhm.
And if they're ready, then we bring them in. But it's to help decrease incidents and to improve overall behavioral health.
thank you, Madam Chair, I have no further questions.
Okay.
Good questions.
Okay. Anyone else have any other
Yes,
questions?
ma'am.
Ms. Rose?
Right, thank you so much for sharing that community. I just wondering, do you have any program for youth, to teenagers? Because that we tend to focus on the one that are already in the program and not preventing the one that are coming up. And I think that there was any way also to interact with the local school, the learning became wrong with that. Just maybe just going to school maybe 2 hours in 1 week. Just how it was. I will use the word conversation. This conversation, everybody feel like I can contribute. We can share information. I think that was the wrong way because when we focus on the one that are already having the problem, we forget the one that's going to add those problems. And I think that if you add that tweak to it, that will also. I also, do you have also reach out to those mass also? Because you're talking here two different culture, people that like to do in themselves. That doesn't mean they're perfect. Okay? They suffer together, but nobody goes out to look for information to bring in. The Quran is a lecture, but you have to take it the way you take it. So that's another group of people that if you can find a way of reach out to those this man goes back and
No, but
that will make a big difference. Yeah, because again, it's the culture seems to revolve within the community. And when you target one, leave the other one. The contagious part of it is when they get together in school, they share information. They're only one. But when they leave their home, they become who they want. And that's what's key. And we had a meeting in Harlem with a commanding officer there. We tend to find out that a lot more of those kids into the religious, let's say, mosque, are getting a lot more involved in things because they don't think that, you know, things super. So if you can reach out to those, that will help a lot. To,
No, definitely, if you give me that information,
yeah,
that would be
need
great.
some of those.
I know that Samaritan does have preparatory schools. We have in Suffolk, we also have in Rockland. We also work very close with the schools as far as our outpatient behavioral health clinic, one being New Beginnings Community Counseling Center, where they do work closely with the schools in referrals and getting adolescents and children to therapy. We also have activities across all our outpatients that cater to the adolescents. For example, our independence program, which is a certified community behavioral health clinic, we actually have creative arts, dance movement therapy that has activities on a monthly basis that support adolescents and children. And I think it's great where you can be creative in how you provide services, so it's not something that's just a kid walking into a room and speaking with the therapist. It's nice where they can engage and move their body and have an opportunity to draw and release differently than a norm where maybe an adolescent as we know may not feel comfortable. It allows them to be unique and build a relationship differently. But we do have services in other locations that cater to adolescents. as far as schooling setup. But any information you can provide me, that would be great. I would love to share it with the team.
Any other questions?
I'm
No.
Oh, you're done, okay.
Madam Chair, may I be recognized?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, again, so this conversation was necessary because we understand that our district is under, a state of emergency. This is some people's, and around, harm reduction or open drug use that's happening. Everyone is having a conversation, everyone has toured the Third Avenue, Bay area, everyone or the hub, everyone has talked about what's happening in Bronx Community Board 1 related to this issue and its problem and other areas of the Bronx. And we have talked to multiple organizations and to understand their, impact to help, be able to address this issue. We believe it's an all hands on deck related response. It needs to happen, especially organizations that have multiple layers of funding, federal, state, and city funding, which you have identified. And we know that Samaritan Daytop Village has become a mega institution, especially since you have taken over, my understanding, some of the novel freedom contracts as it relates to methanol maintenance and other programs as a district. And we wanted to understand more about what your organization is doing in a sense of impact outreach or residential or outpatient related programs to help meet that demand. We have in our district have this recorded a little over 2,000 used syringes that have been discarded throughout the district as it relates to what could be directly related to the harm reduction outreach that's happening in the district. And our understanding that the harm reduction program was created to help address the systemic numbers that were coming from the HIV/AIDS epidemic. But now that epidemic is becoming prevalent and real about what's happening in the district. In addition to other quality of life concerns, homeless encampments, and other issues related to public safety. We understand that not everyone who uses doesn't involve themselves in public safety. Some people that we understand are able to be have not entertained being involved in public safety. But we understand that the population has, like every other population, has a connection to that. Unfortunately, what would you say that you or your agency contribute directly to the issue at hand? Because we know that some people have alleged that, like they do with cannabis, the issue is the use of harm reduction programs can be encouraging for drug use. And we know that there are also some myths out there about the other issues related to harm reduction. What can you say are 5 major things that your agency is doing to directly combat the issue of harm reduction in the community, especially as your organization has grown in the district and is directly involved, I understand, with Acasa Network and others in the Bronx opioid response piece. Please speak more to that.
So definitely educate. I think one of the most important things out of the 5 is that we are educating the community. We are educating them on understanding the services that we provide, but more so really understanding what harm reduction means, really understanding what tools they can utilize as harm reduction. And if they're unsure, giving them the opportunity to know where they can find us, where they can speak with us. So having a team in the community 4 to 5 times a week in different areas is a nice way to implement that education. Especially if the person's not sure and they take literature, but the next time they see someone and they speak, they can ask questions. We want them to know it's okay to ask questions to gain insight and understand more about harm reduction. Another item will be to coordinate. I think it shows that a lot of organizations in this community itself have collaborated, whether we end up at the same park or the same block outreaching. It's showing that we're not against one another. We're actually trying to tackle the same issue. So we're able to collaborate and effectively communicate. Where we're like, well, we did this block, let's try a different block next week. Maybe I'll take this block and you go there, so both of us aren't here, and one's here and one's over there. I think that shows that we've been effective in doing that to educate the community. And not everyone that we come across is actively using, but they're learning. They want to understand how to help the next person. And we've come across individuals that actually do stop some of our staff and say, can you educate me? Because if I see someone in a state, then how can I help them? So we are able to train with Narcan on hand and really let them know, even if it's not for you, maybe someone else who may need it, at least we can educate. We are, giving to the community as far as making sure that they're nourished, trying to make them know that it's okay to take items that we have for them, whether it's to support hygiene or to stay warm, or if it's to stay fed, it's okay to know that we're here to support them. And I think that's what I can share for now.
Right.
I'm not gonna stall, but I know for me, the key thing is educate. I think far too often we're quick to assume people understand what harm reduction is, but it's time to educate and help them really see where it can get them.
So we talked about education, and thank you, Chair, for a little leverage. We talked about education, and especially the people who we hand needles to use in a hopefully safe way. How are you educating individuals about how to properly discard the needles, whether it is doing needle disposal container, or I understand the administration is looking at working to do, there's a program that's being piloted to talk about how folks can turn in needles as a certain way and be able to obtain some resources, that financial resources as it relates to that exchange, and that program is being evaluated. How it's happening, but and how are you educating those who can use to actively be better neighbors as they are using? There are examples we have evaluated in other communities where they have supervised use program. I think it's on point is doing that in home. What are you doing to help educate the client that they're not residentially in there? Because unfortunately, we found out that the drugs that are being used here in the community is sometimes 50 to 80% more potent than it is in any other borough in New York City, which makes the possibility of overdose extremely high. We had a tour recently where elected officials touring with members of the administration, and there was an overdose that was happening right there on site. Unfortunately, so the use of the drugs in this environment is, while it's happening, we think also it's important to move folks to recovery service or other resources besides using open drugs. We know that methadone there's another program that's instituted to take you off, to hopefully wean you off methadone and then hopefully soon be clean. How are you educating, and what are you showing other possibilities for people who are unfortunately addicted to fentanyl and other drugs can be able to likely live a drug-free life, or to be able to be responsible when they are using the needles that are provided to our residents?
So we always start with educating the staff first, because they have to be educated in order to educate the community. We connect with other resources that organizations are utilizing, because for example, if we're not doing a needle exchange component within our organization, we partner with other organizations to be educated, learn about it, so then we can deliver it to the community. So we have to make sure that our staff are properly aware and knowledgeable before we can disperse it to the community. So that to me is a key thing. Another thing we try to do is have individuals be supported by others in recovery or have been successful. So we do have a large population of peers who have been successful in treatment. They are part of our patient advocacy committee, and it's great because they go into the community with our outreach team to kind of give that sense of hope, on the back end, to really see how they can to be successful. And, meeting individuals where they're at, I think does play part in how you can be successful in that education. They want to hear it from someone who has dealt with it. And how are they able to deal with the trial and tribulation and the challenges that they face to now be successful. I think that's the best part about the PMO and how they can be very instrumental into that education. So that's what we have been doing thus far for individuals with new exchange, or if we see that they are still actively using, they don't know if they want to stop at that moment. We try to give them the hope and support that they need, and what resources are there if this is not the decision they want to make right now, what decision, that they should consider with information that they have, that they're being given.
Right, now we final, this is not a question, more of a statement to the chair to say, is that we would love to learn more. You gave the first vice chair statistics about where people are accessing your services and programs to, and we'd love to hear more about how you're moving. If one possible, I understand, we have family, friends, loved ones who have been addicted to heroin and fentanyl, and we know that it is sometimes a very debilitating drug that takes control of your life, it changes your family, and does a lot of different things. Some people think they can function while using it, and so we know how hard it may be apparently to be able to enter into a drug-free life or even maintenance yourself to other types of drugs while you're dealing with that, because we know that it becomes part of literally your body, and it takes control. So we understand that work, and we commend the people who are working to do that. We'd love to hear more statistics about how those people who are in those programs are when you start out as an active person using harm reduction services in need of clean needles, etc., and how your program is likely targeting a goal for those who are interested and who are ready. Sometimes it's likely not to happen, or moving people towards recovery services and being able to develop it, because that then it becomes a goal to say that people can live likely and not leave this world as addicted to the use, and also helping to educate more about statistically how are the needles you're handing out, how are you educating individuals to help them be able to dispose of those needles properly so they can help contribute to what the work that we all are doing, and either the administration or others to help remove open use heroin needles around district. It impacts economic development, it impacts a lot of different areas, and safety, public safety, health, and so on. So we'd love to hear more about that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
No problem. Any other questions?
Madam
before
Chair, I just have one comment. I recently went to the 40th Precinct Council, and a lot that was said there, I think you would be there with some good input. So if you could connect with them in some kind of way, because this is the police department that works around these agencies. And I think the more they know about y'all, the more they see of y'all, it works to a better relationship. And that's what we need more of. And since you're connecting with some of narco freedoms stuff, I think it would be very, very instrumental. You meet up with Gabe, the president of 40th Precinct Council. And my thing is to get the agencies together. We can work together, we can do much, much more. So if she can give my name, I can get in touch with Gabe, and y'all can meet up and you can do something there with them. And I'm quite sure this was a beautiful presentation.
Thank you.
And we need more and more of it. And I'd like to see you link up with this committee so that in the future, when we get together to do this big stand, that we're all together.
And if I could just share something, based on what you were saying, is that when someone enrolls into treatment, we start the discharge at admission with the concept of why are you here and what goals you want to achieve. And some of those goals really allow someone to say, well, I want to start here and decrease my use and work to sobriety. And we show these to the clients more so than less, because we want them to see they walked in with a certain mindset and we can get you there. Even if it takes a little longer than expected because they're using harm reduction, you can still succeed in making that goal. And so I think that's another way to show that we can help people not just feel stuck in one phase. They actually can make it to the next step. And knowing that they're supported, I think is key. And the community supports them. And it shows when other people want to learn about how to help their addiction or help them get stable or even manage their medication because it goes beyond just substance use. Sometimes it's the mental health too, along with the substance use and learning how to manage both. But it starts from the moment they walk in, the first connection outside, the first outreach we make, so it really shows a big difference. But
Right.
I do agree in helping with the police precinct, especially that they moved over
Right.
right here.
Yeah.
It's a different
Get a better understanding.
setting that they're in now by the park, which is where a lot of our outreach takes place.
That's what I'm saying.
And so
And you
that's
have a
what-
new commander that you all need to meet and get together. Maybe, y'all can have bi-monthly meetings to stress and meet everything. This is beautiful, thank you.
So,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask something. Since you guys contribute to distribution, can you also have a team that sometimes contribute to pick up those meals? Because we also realize that by doing so, also you become conscious of how much is being used. Coming to the clinic doesn't really give you exactly what's really going on. So we thought at one point that we discussed, we thought that maybe those company organization that contribute to that in community, if once a month or something you join with those groups that pick up, walk around, that can make you can make a different assessment as to how things are happening. Because when they walk out of your clinic, you don't know what else is happening, right? Meanwhile, there are public that goes around and walk into the park. There's an organization that walk into the park and pick up those things. If you guys can be part of that once in a while, that probably will give you a sense of exactly what things are.
We are in the community, we do outreach 4 to 5 times a week, but, so we are connecting with other organizations who are specializing in that of what you're saying, we're picking up needles and educating them, and that's where I do agree that bringing all of the organizations together once a month can feed each other what they saw and what we engaged in, and how can we tackle each other's barriers and challenges together. I think that would be
Yes.
great, because we see each other.
Yes,
We
yes.
are saying, hey, I got this block, you got this block,
Yeah.
but maybe having those kind of conversations would be great. And I know with the Bronx Opioid Collective, they do have a lot of those conversations. And so being a part of that is great, because those are topics that do come up. And so in those meetings, you do have different organizations, but it's great where it can have even more organizations that can come here and have a spokesperson to kind of deliver that. That would be great, especially that might be the missing.
Right.
Or sometimes reach out to us, why you guys get together, all those organizations, reach out to us, we come and join you, we
Right.
do in the neighborhood. Because you see, they have to really know that we are here.
Yes.
And if you are connected with us living in the community, and then the relationship there, they feel more comfortable knowing that somebody cares. Because I tell you, on the corner of, there's a supermarket on 1 now on Brook, there's a supermarket
Yeah.
there. If you know what happened in that block, you can go chase around there, because I pass there going to the gym all the time. I mean, passing there is like nobody ever pick up anything.
Yeah, it's like a zone.
Like a zone. I'm telling you, and you literally see them there doing it
Yeah.
in the open eye.
So to piggyback off of you, because I would like to ask some questions. Do you have any clarification in regards to the 4 to 5 outreach that you guys do per week? Do you have a specific location? And then also, in regards to the opioid treatment program centers, I know the one on Grand Concourse has been there for a very long time, right? And going back to Ambrose, in regards to what you guys do, how does that, your day-to-day look like in those treatment centers? Like, do you guys get walk-ins? Is it like, the referral base? How does that look like on a day-to-day? And the reason why I'm asking that is because at the very end of the, patients, individuals who are fighting are coming out, again, going back to what Ambrose is saying, they'll walk straight to Park Avenue, straight all the way to Lincoln, and there's a bunch of syringes, down on the floor. We have hotels, we have restaurants, and things of that nature, and also schools. What can you share in terms of that type of clarification, so that we can be well informed and hopefully, move on to the next step and what we can do as a community?
Okay, so the intake process is that we do have walk-ins, we have schedules, we even have, the central admission doors on 148th and Portland are open to the community Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So people could just walk in unannounced, the doors are open. But we do have schedules, where the person can have an appointment either by them calling or for collateral calls. As far as how a day-to-day looks, it depends on the location, because if you have an outpatient clinic that's doing behavioral health services, they may run the services differently than an opioid treatment program that's comprehensive in relief services. But nevertheless, the individuals are scheduled, they are dispensed their medication, they get clinical visits as well, and groups. Now, as they're leaving, they could go into the community, but I can't speak on what they're doing outside because I don't know what they're doing when they leave the clinic. But what we try to do is encourage them to do some of the activities. So if they're going to 250 Grand Concourse opioid treatment program, they do come over to the Richard Trust Wellness Center, which has the Park Recovery Center. Some of those individuals are attending the services there. So it doesn't mean that they only have to go to 250 Grand Concourse. There's more integration where they can get dispersed their medication, go to a group session, meet with their clinician, and then come over to the Richard Trust Wellness Center and do activities at the Recovery Center. We do encourage clients in following up with any other appointments that they have outside of what they're getting from Samaritan. Maybe they have another medical provider that they're attending, or they have just other appointments, whether they're working at Access VR. We encourage that if they're attending. But what we do have for the 4 out of the 5 days, we do have locations that they attend. We do St. Mary's Park. We also do 138th Street. We also been going to Washington Heights as well. 125th was a recommendation. And we also have Southern Boulevard, 149th, Longwood area. We pick different spots. So every week we have 4 to 5 days in the community, but they're not the same every week. We try to rotate it, because if you stay in one location, you're missing the other spots. So that's where we do try to modify it on a weekly basis. But the majority of the time, the highest need, what we have been experiencing, is by the train stations on 149th and 3rd, 149th and 3rd Concourse, and also on 149th, if I'm not mistaken, it's not Jackson, it's the block before that by the precinct, right there by the park, a Brook and 149th, because you enter the park right there. That's a good location, and then I know on the weekends you'll see where some of the nonprofits are setting up with their resource stands. But we physically go with registered Marines and we communicate. We have vaccines, we have different rapid tests trying to educate, and we also have various resources. And if someone's not sure, then we have Bronx outreach cards for the outreach team, and they can contact the number, or if they see someone that they remember, they'll come in with a card and say, I don't remember who gave me the card. But that's how some of our walk-ins happen. They say, I have this card for 2 weeks. I don't remember his name, but I know he told me I could come here. And then if they do recall the name, they'll say the name of the peer or the person that they connected with at the team. But on a day-to-day, it varies based on the client's case. Some clients can come every day. Some clients are 3 days a week. I think COVID has taught us a lot where you can't just have someone come every day. It's kind of where you have to figure out where their case is at and what services they need. But it doesn't have to only be opioid treatment. There's groups being rendered twice every morning, and it correlates to when they pick up their medications, so that if you can make the 7 o'clock group, for example, you can make the 11 o'clock. So we try to keep them engaged in not just coming to medication, but getting other services that can be offered in a comprehensive opioid treatment program.
Thank you so much. I think the reason why I was asking that is because, one, as a mom to a 10-year-old, I'm sure a lot of parents are, it's pretty much challenging to see Republican they triangle, right? And so you see people foaming out their mouth, or people giving injections and things of that nature. And it's in the heart of the hub and also transportation, right? And so where I was going at in terms of the walk-in is when a client goes in as a walk-in, and again, temptation is at its highest, right? Through everywhere, right? And so when they come out, is there like a shuttle that you guys provide to have them go somewhere else, or they're just going out to go to another appointment to follow up or to try to see what they can be able to do? And the reason why I'm asking this is because it's been, it's an influx of this opioid crisis that's happening. It's not getting any better, right? And so we're trying to figure out solutions and also not attack nonprofits or organizations, but it's just to see how we can come together as a community. As we have family members, I know people have family members who are struggling to that nature, but also try to figure out how can we come together to figure out a way to diminish this eventually. Obviously, it's not going to be at zero, but hopefully, if there's some type of solutions where maybe if Jane Doe comes out of the treatment and we can take Jane Doe in a shuttle to go to another location, is there have been a conversation in terms of providing something to the community, and then also to increase the outreach. I know you guys are out there 4 to 5 times a week. There's other organizations out there too, and also coming together to understand or try to see if they can be able to fund more to give outreach to other areas that are probably in need as well. Just wanted to just give that comment and see if there's a possibility, if there's a conversation in the future to provide those type of services and more.
So we actually do have transportation. We actually even meet clients when they're being discharged from the hospital. If they're being discharged from detox or inpatient, we do have it. We are able to do it either through Uber. We also have a van where recently we have clients that are coming from our clinic on 250 Grand Concourse in the van over to the Social Plus Wellness Center for medical services to avoid them walking. The only difficult part and the biggest challenge is if they say that they're not interested, we can't force it. But what we do is we educate them, letting them know these are the resources we have. We even utilize Uber. We have Uber where we can transport individuals from one appointment to the other. And a lot of individuals are getting more comfortable in giving us that opportunity. It's just difficult when we're not able to be successful if the person chooses not to take it. But what we do is we continue to educate and let them know that these are the services that we have. But we have seen the importance of navigating someone to and from, especially when they leave from hospital discharge or if they're from detox or rehab, because the goal is we want them to get straight to treatment with no lapse of care.
Yeah.
And so that's where the transportation of a peer is helpful too. We've done that as well. It's just if the person chooses not to accept that recommendation, and that's where it can be difficult, but it's about educating. So even out of 10 people, we can start with one, that isn't a small accomplishment,
Yeah.
but it's not trying to tackle maybe the next week trying to get 2 or 3. But we have utilized those kind of services to navigate, to prevent from losing someone within the community. It's just getting them comfortable to give us that, it's building trust, building a relationship and a rapport. So sometimes in the beginning of an enrollment, they may not want that, but once they get comfortable with the clinician or the multidisciplinary team, or even sometimes it's a facilitator that they build a rapport with, once they make that connection, that's where we see the success with getting those individuals from one location to another without being exposed into the community, with temptation. But I know it is a process, and I know that we are all advocating on getting more people in the community. So we are striving to hire more peers to be on the outreach team, just like I keep advocating for my in-reach team, which has grown because having these people embedded in the shelter to bring them to their appointment and then bring them back has shown success.
Yeah.
It's just we have to, it's small steps, and we're trying to get more individuals from hearing from one another, like, oh, if you let this, utilize the service, it works. It's just getting them comfortable. A lot of our individuals have trust issues, and gain comfortability and trusting someone who's gonna guide them the right way. It's a process, but it's small steps, but we are able to assist with that, and we always offer it when we collaborate with other collaterals, letting them know that we can provide transportation. It's up to the person to accept it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Does anyone else have any questions, any comments? Yeah.
I just wanted to add something. You mentioned about trust. Trust encompasses a lot of things that make you comfortable. The one thing that is a key barrier is language.
Mm-hmm.
You have in these communities been for so many years Spanish, then English, now melting pot. Now it changed exponentially.
Yeah.
We have a lot of French speaking, and which is also something that when people are really not comfortable, they kind of stay away from it. If I can see somebody in there that looks like me, I'm not going in there. So it's kind of that kind of environment. Are you taking any approach trying to attract those that don't feel like I don't used to go there, so therefore I'm not going there. I'm just gonna suffer. What measure you taking to develop that environment where people can feel comfortable in terms of languages, the culture?
Mhm.
Yeah, you taking measure to expand to that those community also.
So
Yes,
here's a conversation.
What, a lot of training that has been embedded so that we have staff who can better understand how to work with individuals that might feel like their culture is not understood or their language is not understood. We do have translation services, but we are working on finding more employees that have bilingual capabilities and not just Spanish speaking. I know I've worked with individuals on my team that speak Creole. I did work with a social worker that spoke Russian. And if I don't have that kind of service for them in that language, it's about meeting the client where they're at, where if that's what they prefer, at least let me find a provider that can offer it face to face. Maybe I can use translation services temporarily until I can get them to a provider that has a person who speaks their language if I can't accommodate it. But it's about letting the community know that we understand the different cultures. So when we do these outreaches, it's letting them know we understand their culture and working with
You
them.
understand that they're gonna want to feel like see something out of their
Yeah.
thing. Not understanding. If you look at you, I can't tell if you understand. If you see somebody that look like me, I'm gonna be
And
sure that
that's where your team has to be of that
diversified
setting,
team,
and it
yes.
has to be a team I can send in the community knowing that there won't be any of those concerns, and that's what the team looks like. The team looks like the community, so it helps them
Yes.
feel comfortable. And then if there is at some point a language barrier, because we have faced various languages in the last few years, where if I can accommodate it, I think I can work in finding a provider that can. But it's making sure that my outreach team mirrors what my community looks like. And that's what we have done.
I will also suggest to you, one of the reasons why I give you those names is gonna help you a lot with the transition. If somebody come out of that hood and come to you, don't seem to be cooperating with you, guess what? You give one of those a phone call, they speak to them, you find a whole big difference. You know why? Because they're comfortable with that person. That's the person that seems that feel that understand them, know their culture. It is like that. So is that will really help a lot. Yeah, that. Also meeting them with those that I gave you, have a same conversation you had with us, and put them in a comfort that, hey, we have a service here that can accommodate everyone, including you, on your language, your culture, and everything. I think that will probably speak for it.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you. And I know that's why having a team that everyone has their own specialty caters to those scenarios where we all can work with each other and say, I have a client that I think will benefit from meeting with you versus meeting with me, but I was able to initiate engagement. And that's a lot of what we do with either the outreach team or when a client presents at the clinic.
Any other questions?
I just have a comment. First of all, I just want to apologize, Madam
No,
Chair, for
it's
asking
okay.
questions out of turn
Thank you.
and whatnot. But I just, as again, like I said, I love what Samaritan's doing and collaborating with you guys is great. I think that you've made some really good important points, especially that when someone comes to that first meeting, you're kind of helping them to own what's going to happen. You know, that they have a vested part in what's going on. And I love that you're very culturally sensitive, as my member here said. So, and you're out there, you know the temperature of what's going on in that community, which is so important. And that collaboration with all of us together, because there's so many different organizations, even through mine. When we come together, though, we're more powerful with our resources. So I think those were really some good points that can happen. And the 40 precinct meetings are very important. And there's some things happening within the community, breaking ground and getting things done. Do we need more? Of course. So thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I know the key thing too is that, you know, a lot of the individuals we serve in this community have modalities that kind of want to mandate or determine what someone needs, but making that person feel powerful for themselves,
Yes.
walking into an appointment or walking in general or connecting in the street. It's kind of like, I know you have this that you have to take care of. What else do you want to work on?
Exactly.
Giving them some sense of power
Mhm.
really changes how that relationship is going to go. When it's all about what the mandate wants, you kind of lose the client.
Mhm.
And so you kind of have to really support what they need in conjunction to what the mandate's requiring. But giving them that sense of control, because you look into these cases and you realize a lot of these individuals have been controlled
Yes.
and they never had an opportunity to use their own voice. And I think that's why, patient-centered care and being
Yes.
able to give them that comfortability of saying what they feel and what they feel they want to work on makes a big difference. And if it's where we have to utilize a different person to support the client because of what they presented with, that's where we're culturally mindful
Mhm.
in making sure that we're supportive of what they said, what they're looking for. So it does make a big difference.
Mhm. Thank you so much. Reggie has a question, and I'm gonna
Thank you.
open to.
Sure, thank you. Does Samaritan Village dispense, methadone from the program?
So we have 2 opioid treatment programs that are right here, and we also, right here on 148 in Portland, we also have one on 250 Grand Concourse, and then we also have comprehensive outpatient treatment programs that also provide behavioral health services and methadone. But we all provide, medication-assisted treatment as well.
And what is the total budget for this treatment? How much money does OMH or ACES give, uh, Samaritan Daytop Village
So
on an annual basis?
it varies, and the reason why I have to say it varies is because it depends on the level of care.
The number of
services.
people you service?
It's not so much the number of people you service, it depends on the program platform itself. So you can have a comprehensive opioid treatment program that's also a certified community behavioral health clinic that has different budgets versus an opioid treatment program.
Give me a number off the top of your head.
So
But if she doesn't, are you able to provide that for us?
I can the
Okay,
next meeting
perfect.
because it
Yeah.
varies if you give me an
I think that's
opportunity because
important.
Yeah.
it's all different. But what I can deliver the next meeting is to show you why they're unique and different, and it would also give you the total.
And I have a last, it's not a question, but it's a statement. I feel a little bit uncomfortable with something that you said earlier. Well, it's not you personally. I'm the elected district leader here, not too long ago. It had nothing to do with the board. And I have people calling me all the time with the problem that we're having down in the South Bronx. And when you mention now that you guys do outreach in Manhattan, 116th, 125th Street, you bring them here. I have a problem with that.
If I could just share, when we do outreach on 160, 125, we actually have a Harlem outpatient program. That's where they're being referred
Then
to.
that's what you should have mentioned, because I took it as,
apologize.
you're going to do outreach in Manhattan, 116, 125th, and they wind up on Portland, or they wind up on, and now we have a situation here where, why are we servicing people from other boroughs?
I'm glad I can clarify for
Good,
you.
so that's a good
It's
clarification.
based on the location. So we have various outpatient clinics
Okay.
in the boroughs. So if I'm outreaching on 125th or Washington Heights, then I'm
So for the
designating
record,
those
for the
individuals
record,
to a
you're
different
not
site.
bringing patients from outside of the Bronx
No.
to Portland Avenue or
For
250
the
Grand Avenue.
outreach, no, but I
Right.
can't control if someone chooses on their own to
Walk-in.
physically come here as a walk-in.
Okay,
But then we would educate them on knowing that you walked in, but there's a program that was closer to home,
Mhm.
and then I connect them to
well,
that program.
that's why one of my first line of questioning was, where do they live?
I think that's important though.
I agree.
People to
Okay,
know.
that was it.
But thank you for letting me clarify.
Yes,
With having outreach
'Cause you were
team
gonna
that's
get
so
it.
expensive, no, I was ready for
you
you.
were gonna get it.
We have outpatient programs in Harlem, Brooklyn, we have in Queens, we have in Long Island, we have in Staten Island, so it's a lot of outpatient clinics, and you can meet someone in the Bronx that really lives in Long Island, but they're just in the Bronx.
Well, I don't wanna
So,
wait
it's
for the
just
budget,
connecting.
you can send it to the district manager and
Of
anything,
course.
okay?
Not a problem.
Thank you, I'm done with my question.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
don't you go by catchment area?
Correct, but there has been blasts
Right.
sent by the state that there's other areas that are in need of support.
Good.
So I split my team to help out with the understanding that they can go to different outpatient clinics,
Yeah.
not bringing them all to the Bronx.
But you do have a catchment area, because I noticed that for years, they've always had that.
Yes,
You know.
but they've also
But,
expanded.
but they
into-
expanded it to the point that they now allow it, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong, they're allowing you to take patients outside of your catchment area.
depending
Whereas
on
at
their-
one time, you could not. That's the problem.
But I know it also depends on the scenario, because every case is
Yeah,
individualized, so if I have someone that can go back to a certain zip code because it's unsafe, because of what they dealt with,
Right,
that's why I stated earlier, we will then accommodate and transfer. But then, if someone lives in one catchment and then moves, I wanna accommodate
Yeah.
them so they can safely get to and from,
different,
then I transfer
different
them.
circumstances.
Yeah,
different
But
circumstances.
that's amazing that you clarified that, because there's a lot of questions for
Right.
moving about that,
Mhm.
because there's different areas, there's different catches and stuff like that, so thank you for that. Is there any other questions
Was
within
it-
our?
Was that in-
Okay, yes, you can state your name and we can.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Ben Engel. I work at the Third Avenue Bid. Thank you again for being here and answering questions. I had some clarifying questions about the center on 148 in Portland. So I'm looking at this picture and I'm noticing it's like a couple stories. Is it like an inpatient place? Like, are there beds? Are people staying there now?
It's not an inpatient, facility or outpatient services, but the central admissions office will assess someone and help them get to a residential program with a bed.
Okay.
It's called central admissions because we have two locations, one in the Bronx and one in Queens, where anyone can either walk in or have an appointment to get assessed for what they need,
Okay.
which will end up placing them either in an outpatient program or get a bed in a residential program.
Okay,
But
so,
it's specifically in that building, there's not a bed.
okay, so, but there are doctors there, there's
Right.
other services. So it's not just central admissions, it's also, you said two types of methadone treatments or?
So we have, outpatient behavioral health services, we have opioid treatment program embedded in that building. We also have long-term care management, and we even have a primary care facility as well.
Okay, good, thank you. And one other question, do you do needle distribution in the community at those outreach locations you mentioned?
No, we do not do needle
Samaritan
distribution.
does not. do
No,
that.
not for the outreach team that we have, no.
Okay.
But what we do is we partner up with other organizations while we're doing outreach to help support and educate and kind of identify areas that need support.
Okay.
Now, is that something that we should consider? I know that was mentioned earlier, and that is something I want to bring back and see how we can get into that, component of servicing the community, but we do more of the outreach, educate, harm reduction, as far as giving out, rapid testing, and more so really educating the community on how to utilize Narcan, and also, encourage them to consider treatment when they're ready, and if not, we also have a recovery center inside the Metro Park Wellness Center, that it's not treatment, but it can kind of help them gain more insight on why they should consider treatment if they're ready. If not, at least it's to say maybe somewhere they can hang out and prevent from loitering in the community.
Okay, and so recovery center, would you, something where you stay multiple nights or?
Oh, no, it's not an overnight, it's, activities throughout the day.
Okay.
They can even work on their resume, they have access, to different groups that they offer. You have a Zen room where they're learning how to utilize meditation more and try to just get to know their peers and work with peers. And if they're ready for treatment, then the next step would be to take them from the recovery center to one of the programs in the building.
Any other questions? Any comments?
I just wanted to say that again, I invite you to also, I don't know how you're connecting with, the Third Avenue Bid, plus the Third Avenue, this academic development issue.
I believe your organization's a part of the conflict with.
Yes,
Correct.
Yeah.
yes.
Thank you, Chair.
All right,
Can you, we have, before you do that, one person just for the record that came in, so this for the record, can you list your name, please, Joanne?
Joanne Tate,
Leonardo Cuomo, Bronx Pro Director for the Mayor's Office.
would you like to ask any questions?
Normal questions. I would just make the comment, I apologize, I missed the presentation. I'm sure it was very informative. Great. But I just wanted to come in just to kind of reassure that, the mayor is aware of the conditions, it's something that's on our radar. We've piloted a couple different programs in association with the bid as well too. I've done some walkthroughs and, it's a very layered challenge and stuff. And so the mayor is looking to, provide funding and programming through all the layers, right? Like, helping, and I'm sure you can speak to it, helping an individual, comes with helping them with their mental health, housing, medication, all wraparound services that individuals need in order to eventually get them to a place where, they can start to live a fulfilling life and stuff. And so all of those things are on our radar. We were putting a lot of funding into many of those programs. We're hyper focused in housing. That's one of the main things that we believe, that if an individual has stable living conditions, it's something that can kind of really help with that progress. And so, you see things that we have last year, City of Yes, and then the mayor just announced recently the City of Yes for families. So we're hyper focused on making sure that housing and things like that, that are the staples of recovery and people getting a stable lifestyle. But we're also being conscious of the community as well too. We're making sure that NYPD is playing a role in the community, making folks feel as safe as possible as well too. We've done things. We have one of the largest graduating classes coming up in the next couple of months. We'll have over 1,000 graduated members of the police academy coming. So, we're focused on this challenge, and I want to thank the work that you're doing, and thank the community board on the time that they're putting in and owning, their community as well too, and just making sure that everyone is aware that the mayor is aware, and all our agencies and everybody's aware of what's happening. And we're really putting in some strong efforts to make sure that we are doing the best that we can to impact, what we're here talking about today. Thank you.
So, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it, because this was very informative and you provided a lot of clarification. And hopefully, we can definitely touch base in the future to collaborate and figure out and brainstorm. Thank you so much, and we're gonna excuse you for today for your presentation. Do you have any questions?
Um, how often do you have to meet? Because I think being asked to present today,
Yeah.
it would be great if I can come back with
Oh,
extra
beautiful.
responses that you asked for.
Yes.
Beautiful.
So that I can really be of support in what your purpose stands for. Because I too have a purpose
Yeah.
in my role with the organization. I would love to support yours.
Thank you. So we have our meeting is the third Tuesday of every month. And then we have the community board meeting, which is the general one, which is the last Thursday of the month. But you're more than welcome to come to both, and hopefully you can also hear other, comments and concerns from the community, because that's very important. And hopefully we can be able to, build our relationship so that because we do care for the community, and we want to be able to do the best that we can on our end.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
So you have a business card, you can leave your business
Yes.
card, community coordinator, and you can put it on my list, and we can make sure.
Football also the same thing.
Yeah.
Football. So we can come to the football.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You can email me, or you can give your gift card to them.
Of course, I didn't bring my right purse because I was in this minute. Can I just write it?
Sure, yeah. Sure.
I thought I put the right purse.
It's okay.
You understand my handwriting?
It's legible.
It's Morales at SamaritanVillage.org.
Perfect. Yeah.
I'm getting ready.
So now I have to look out, right?
Yeah.
Stay.
Okay, she's representing like really good.
I have meat though, any meat in there?
That's right, that's right.
I'm not a vegetarian, I have meat in there.
I have purpose and onions. So
Meat.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I know it was kind of an impromptu drop-in, but before I leave, I just want to make sure, were there any questions or anything for the mayor's office that the subcommittee may have for me?
I don't have any questions. You can have it.
Yeah.
I do not have any questions.
Well, in that case, stay warm.
They're gonna be there tonight?
Bye. All right, so, we're gonna move to the old businesses, right? Huh? We doing new business. Oh, so you, it's not me going crazy. We're gonna do new businesses. We're gonna, huh? What? I'm gonna acknowledge Brenda Goodwin for the new business. Ms. Goodwin, would you like to?
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Hey, good evening.
I requested to come to the health committee, meeting because I used to be the health chair for 30 years here. And I have some concern with this problem that we are having now in our community. And I've come here with a suggestion. And in pondering this suggestion, I spoke to the chair here. And this is what I've come up with. We've experienced this before in the past. And at that time, it was methadone. And what we did as a health committee, we worked with the chairperson and we moved those methadone clinics out of our district and put them over in the commercial district under George Rodriguez. It starts with the health committee. What I'm asking tonight is there be a moratorium or a resolution put on the floor that no more support letters to new incoming agencies be done, and no more support letters for advancement or increase in programs. Let's stop it right now and clean up what we got before going further. Continuing to allow agencies to come in is compelling. And just what we're seeing on the news this week is the key. Now you want to build a shelter. Knowing that we already fighting here, now you want to come in with something else. Don't let nobody fool you. The health committee is the key in this thing. You have the power. But everybody on that committee must vote and be on one accord. Because if I say yes and the rest of you say no, you can't pass it. If you agree as a committee to do this, then you have to agree and bring it to the full board and ask the full board support as well. Now you know what you're dealing with. You know that we got problems bigger than we've ever had before. But I'm here to tell you it's not bigger than we ever had before. We experienced this. You remember when 125th Street moved all of them vendors off the street and put them on 116th Street? That's when we moved them methadone maintenance clinics out of here. It can be done. You hold more weight in this community than anybody knows. The health committee. Don't let nobody fool you. Because everything that's happening now is falling under y'all. All these drugs, all these not-for-profit agencies. This lady just told you, she's working with at least 10 other agencies that's dealing with these same drug things. So I said to your chairperson, and let her bring them people into you so you can talk to them too. But I'm suggesting, not requesting, I'm suggesting, and I will vote with you at the full board. No more yes letters of support for incoming. Now some of them won't even need a letter of support, so they're gonna do it anyway. Because not everybody's gonna come to you for that letter of support. I want to increase my program, but I need a letter of support from you to increase my program. No, we're sorry, we're not increasing our program right now. We're trying to see how we're gonna handle the present program we have at hand. That's what we need to do. You are not alone. I and others in the community have been talking. Some are not on this board any longer. I am on the board, but I'm only on one committee now. But I will support you 100% if you bring it to the full board and ask that this be implemented. It starts with you. What do we call it, a monetary or resolution?
No, that's, moratorium, yeah, moratorium.
The moratorium.
Moratorium.
Bring a monetary to the board that we no longer, we agree to do letters of support at this time for incoming agencies and no more for agencies who are presently here asking for advancement of their program. You're not depriving anybody of anything because they're already here.
Right.
What you're saying is, we gotta need time to get this thing together because this is out of hand. Go ahead, ask me anything you want.
Yes, so I like what you're saying, especially of bringing all these different agencies together, because we work with Samaritan too. And I think that if we all come together, even like one person from each agency, and just talk about, because some of the things we're doing might be redundant, some of the things may not be working. And if we all come together and talk with the focus of refining what's going on.
You can do this on your own as a committee, but you have to do it as a committee together.
Yes.
Because I'm telling you, if you get to the full board, because they're gonna wanna know, is the committee in agreement? Everybody has to be in agreement.
Mhm.
If it's 6 of y'all, and 3 say yes and 3 say no, you can't get it to pass. You're just gonna continue to have this influx. You got some kind of way, you have to stop it. It may not seem a lot to people, but it is a lot. Because if they're coming to you for a letter of support, they need it. They need it. And I'm not saying they won't go along with the project, but they need it.
Mhm.
But that shows them that community board one is serious about this thing we're doing. And I'm looking for you as the chair to be very adamant in what you're doing. Talk to the other chairpersons, let them know what you're planning on doing. Say, let's look at it, because our councilmen and our assembly people is walking through this district. And we have to show them that we with them, 100%. So that's what I'm here for. I'm going to one other committee, I believe, and I'll be there at the full board, and I will support you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I just wanna support what Brenda said.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, when you watch TV and you watch the New York Post,
So, yeah.
don't complain.
Yeah.
If we put this up for a vote, and you vote however you want. But then if you see, when they call us, Broadway, the zombie Broadway, you see people on the street, don't complain when people are getting robbed, don't complain when the garbage is overflowing. We try to do something, but Ms. Goodwin is saying, we're not stopping these programs, we're stopping new programs from enhancing and bringing more patients in, expanding their programs to bring more people in. And the moratorium goes as far as no more new programs, no more new shelters. You got 2,200 men coming here now. We're gonna see what happens when they get here. 2,200 men. I'm sure some of them have, substance abuse and they're gonna need substance. What's gonna happen on Roberto Clemente Plaza? Did you notice she never mentioned anything about them going in there to do outreach? You know why? I'm gonna tell you why. Because I'm from the street. If you're a drug dealer and they're there on Roberto Clemente Plaza and you go take away their clients, they will kill you. They stay in the outreach program stays in the outskirts. Go to Roberto Clemente Plaza. Supply and demand. The drug dealers are there and they're supplying all their customers. You go in there to try to take away their customers, they will kill you. And I don't advise anyone to go in there.
So how are we gonna win this fight then?
Very simple. I can give you the answer right now. You want the answer?
Tell them.
Very simple. You need to put a police tower right in the middle of Roberto Clemente Plaza.
That's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
No, I think.
No.
I think you.
Thank you very much.
I
Listen, wait, it gets even better. You put a police tower right in the middle, but you also, they're coming with 1,000 new cops. You got the precinct out, because what happens is, if they see the tower here, they move, right? Now, if you start making arrests, not the users, but the dealers, you arrest the dealers, Now you don't have a supply. Listen, we've seen this before.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
no,
I saw this before in the eighties and the nineties. They cleaned this up. Didn't they clean this up?
And they cleaned up.
They cleaned it up in less than 6 months.
But my question, why don't we implement that? This is our community.
Well, they have
Well, I just
started.
gave you the answer. We need to,
They have started on a smaller scale. I'm at 153rd of Brook, right there, that's where we are. And there was a guy in his white Mercedes, and people would come up all day.
Yeah.
He was just supplying.
yes.
We got fed up, and my partner goes to the 40th precinct meetings.
Mhm.
We got them to come out, and this drug dealer was so bold, he didn't care.
The
He
planning
was
board
doing
needs
it.
to,
But what they kept doing was like hitting him with little citations.
No,
until
no,
they-
that doesn't
got-
work.
No, until I got enough on him,
well, yeah,
and
okay.
they moved him. Unfortunately, he moved to another street,
Right.
but he's not there right in front of our
No,
clinic.
they need to put the Campos
I
right
hear
square in
what
the
you're
middle,
saying.
make the arrest. And what happens is you get arrested a number of times, now there's warrants, and you get stay locked up.
Yeah.
Now, when you eliminate the supply,
Right.
what happens? They're sick. Because that's what they do, they get
This
sick.
is not impossible, this is something that's doable.
Very simple. They wanna give this answer, I thought we all have the same answer.
No, see,
But when I say this, people will come and say, you want massive arrest. No, I don't want massive arrest, I want you know what? I don't care, a drug dealer is a killer.
right now, that tower is sitting somewhere off.
That is correct.
Why not put it right there?
Very good.
So.
Next
so I
community
think-
board meeting, we're gonna bring it up, and we also go to the 40th precinct and demand, because it's a matter of also budgeting, am I correct? They need to man it, but we need it because this is out of control.
Well,
They need to place that command post right
You
there.
have a new captain
why
Yes.
don't we do
who
this?
is ready, willing, and able.
Okay.
I
Why
just,
don't we
Madam Chair,
call for-
Madam Chair.
You call for meeting.
Madam Chair, I just met with the new captain at the 40th precinct. And I will be the first to tell you he's ready, willing, and able to hear whatever you have to say. He's gonna be at the full board meeting. If you wanna meet with him prior to that, call that precinct and sit down and implement it with him. Go to the other chairs on the board. If you have to have a virtual, if you have to have a text, and let them know what you're planning on doing. And then you need their support.
Yeah.
And every chair on this board should be supporting you. Okay? We can't have, as I said, our councilman telling us, and Salamanca was at the meeting, he was at the 4-0. What's that lady name I told you? Amanda was there at the 4-0, they was all there, okay? And they're saying the same thing, and so what I'm saying to you, I said to them. I can sit at a table and I can vote yes, but if I got 5 other members vote no, then I'm done. We have to be together on this. And when I left there, we were all in agreement. She wanna be a part of this, make her a part of this committee. And ask her when she come, bring 2 of them other agencies with her. The only thing that disturbed me in her talking was they not cleaning up no needles.
Yeah, I heard it.
They're not cleaning them up. What's to stop y'all from getting a broom or whatever and clean up too?
That's
So
why,
what-
that's
what's
why
the
I asked
outreach?
them.
What the outreach?
I want to add to that. So in order to remove any agency or any individual to remove that specialized hazardous material training.
You don't think they don't know how to
So
do
what's
it?
wrong with it?
You don't
So
think they
what's
know how to
wrong
do
with
it?
I'm just telling you.
If you
No,
wanna,
no,
if
that's
you
not
wanna do a cleanup of your community, you find out whatever it takes to do that. It's just like dogs. People was bringing their dogs in front of my door. So the next time you come with them dogs, there's somebody sitting over there watching you and waiting for you. And you getting a fine.
So, DM, I think what we would suggest, my suggestion would be, you try to get a meeting, we cannot discuss this at the football meeting. We can meet with the precinct, all the chairs we can have a meeting with the precinct, commanding officer.
Either in person,
Uh-huh.
virtual, whatever.
Wait,
Yeah.
we have to do that first.
Yeah.
Because then we're not gonna take away of the time at the board meeting with a lot of people have.
It's too long, yeah.
Yeah, so let's have a meeting.
Form a plan of
with them.
action. Form a
For
plan
the
of
kind of
action.
action, we can have that tower sitting there, even if it's on, that probably can do the job. So
Yeah.
let's do that.
You watch.
The tower is sitting somewhere right
Yeah,
now, not
park.
being used.
We've done it.
The last
We've
time
done
was
it.
on
It
one
can be
sixty-first
done.
street. It's sitting on the corner of 161st and, Morris Avenue.
You can
It's-
do, you
it's
can
down.
do it.
All right,
It's not even being used.
so before anything, we don't have quorum, right? And so we're gonna take these businesses, what you presented to the general, board meeting. Because I do want that to happen.
But you have to, before you take it to the board for a vote, you have to get your members together to vote.
Yeah.
So you may have to get your members together before the full board. You may have to do a virtual, you may have to do whatever you have to do, because the committee has to vote on it first, before you can take it to the full board.
Yeah.
So under the rules, because we did not pass, we passed a motion under the former board chair to not do virtual meetings, versus the full board has to agree to pass a motion to have any meetings that a vote happens, be virtual, and under the rules, the quorum has to be in person in order for a virtual vote.
Or a personal meeting, before the full board. Or your members, you got 3 of your members right here, right now. You can see where they're coming from. And the ones that are not here, you can meet with them in person. Just document everything you're doing.
You cannot hold two separate meetings. It has to be one meeting or.
Well, get everybody together. Get everybody together.
You can call it,
Yeah, you can call it. Get everybody together, say you wanna put a motion on the floor to have this action taking place. Talk to the chairs of other committees while the, it's young, and tell them what you plan on doing and you need their support. I'm telling you, you go in that meeting and you knock this out the board, we on our way.
I think we also need to have like a plan of action, like just a structure, not like, just
Yeah.
like an outline skeleton of why, how we're gonna do it and what we want.
Well, your why is evident.
Right, but I'm just saying like something on paper, like,
You don't need that. You have a
Okay.
meeting, am I right? You got a legal meeting going
So
here.
I get what she's saying, is that we're not just taking action, and not understanding where we're going. We can just keep doing things.
Where it's gonna lead us.
But
Right.
wait a minute, you're not doing things, you're doing things
Strategy.
because this was a committee meeting. This was a legal committee meeting. And this was presented to the committee, am I right? Okay, so what would you be writing up and giving to who?
well, not so
No,
much
it's a
giving to
plan-
who,
it's a
but
plan
we
of
need
action.
right,
yeah.
a kind of action
Meaning
strategy.
we're gonna do one, and then do B,
Right.
after B, we do C, then
More or
we,
less
I
the
think.
same.
We're
How
all
long is that
passionate
to
about
stay
what we
there?
want to happen,
You know,
and we're
how
all
long is that?
aware of what we want.
So
the outcomes
measurable
of it.
outcome.
Are you talking about the command post, or are you
Yeah,
talking
the
about the
whole, the
vote?
overall strategy,
Just
you
the
mean
over-
like, yeah,
right,
how
overall.
long, we have to have she wants to structure it out that when we meet with them, we have a plan that we can ask the 4-0, okay, we
Right.
want this,
No,
and we want it this
That
amount
I
of
can
days.
understand, but I'm
Yeah.
talking about the vote itself.
Oh, no, I don't know. That's
No,
what-
the vote is the vote.
The vote is good.
Yeah.
The other part y'all do is the committee, because I'm not on the committee, so I can't tell you what to do. The other part you work as the committee work that out. But the vote, I'm here to support you, and we
Right,
need
we're all
to show,
The plan of action.
we need to
Plan of
show,
action is good.
yeah, that's good.
Because we need to know what we're aiming for.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, if the tower gets there, then what next?
How long is it gonna be there?
How long is it gonna be there?
Exactly.
You know, support,
We don't
staff,
want
something
something
like that, yeah.
fly by
Yeah,
night,
that's
for a
good.
weekend, and then
The moratorium, I think moratoriums are infinite until somebody brings up a motion to change, right, to lift it.
You need a moratorium, and you know what?
I'm gonna ask for,
You need you need to
Moratorium.
discuss a moratorium.
Yeah.
Once it goes through, then I would suggest that you talk with your council people and your assembly people, so everybody's on one accord. Because you don't want to implement an end in things that ain't ended.
Because we're really an agency that does what, we just recommend.
It's a recommendation.
At the end of the day, the city council person will.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I also want to make it known, I'll be talking out of two sides of my mouth. As I've shared with district manager, Venus Health, we just opened up a part of our program increased to have substance abuse, and the Oasis commissioner and all that will be here next month to cut ribbon with us. I just want to let you know that that was something already embedded in plans, and it's now,
What's the location?
153rd and, we're right there anyway. We're there for.
But that has
mental health.
nothing,
And
you haven't brought it before the committee to have any
No.
action.
No,
Is
no,
it
no, no, no.
Laverne?
We're
Laverne?
existing already,
Ready.
but we're just,
I know, that's what I'm saying, you're existing already.
right,
You're
we're just
already
ribbing,
implemented.
right, we're just ribbing
You would
tight. So I
only
didn't
be
want,
coming before her if you wanted to increase
Right, no, I'm
the
just
program.
saying, because I would like to invite all of you, I don't want us to say, well, Richie is saying this, and now she invites us to cut, ribbon cut, and it's already in place.
Yeah.
So, but I hear you, I totally understand where everyone's coming from, and I feel the same way, like,
But
I'm
keep up with
fed
your
up.
share, because there's certain things, like you work with the certain agencies, you can't sit at the table and vote. So
I
just
didn't
be
know
clear, just be clear.
Mhm.
If your agency comes before this
Yeah,
committee.
you have to recuse
you
yourself
have to
from the-
recuse
Yeah.
yourself.
I don't think they come,
You don't know what's gonna happen,
Right.
you're new.
right, I am
So I'm
new,
just educating you, you're new,
thank you.
you're new.
They are, they're not coming to the committee for anything. We,
You never know, down the line, you may get some money.
well, we've already done that, but down the line, yeah, with it, if it happens, but right now, I'm just saying,
You have to recuse yourself.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
You can be there
Thank you.
just
I don't
on the.
understand all the
It's
rules and
okay.
regulations.
Don't say no more.
We also learn as we go along. We also learn as we go
Well,
along.
you know, one thing about us, I know we've always been a helpful board, we always help.
I mean,
Yes, and I want to be a part of that.
question for a motion to end this,
I make a motion to.
I second.
to adjourn,
You
okay,
ready?
motion,
All those in favor?
all in favor?
I can't say nothing,
Aye.
I didn't remember.
Aye.
Hi, okay, this
Night, y'all, night,
Yes.
meeting everybody.
You right?
is.
I think you're right.
Right, no more
It
coming in.
It doesn't matter.
I don't think so.
It doesn't matter.
Oh,
gotcha, okay.
Absolutely. Good one, right?
No, no, you already got all the bad
Like them doing
Okay,
that,
no,
they're bringing
okay.
their
I'll
money
put it for
in
you.
sometimes. Our grades are.
Yes.
Like to clean up the stuff, and bring it around, and around them alone. Yeah, so I will definitely,
Well, she said.
Right. I would love to.
Plans.
Yeah.